All right, it's time for another episode of the Nerdy Virgin podcast. I'm actually using my equipment, trying to get back on the horse here. I've been neglecting this podcast, and I'm sure the zero listeners have noticed, and I just want to say I'm trying to put some more energy back into it and what have you. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm doing this with the nice equipment. I'm sitting in my apartment, ready to go, ready to commit to this. I'm really ready to commit to this podcast. I think, a podcast, it takes a commitment. It takes a commitment to run this podcast. It takes, it's like having a pet or a child. You have to, if you don't give it love, it's not going to grow right. If you don't give it love, it's not going to grow right. I don't know why I went into that voice. That was fun. How am I doing? I'm trying to try. No, I'm not trying. As Yoda would say, there is no try. Do or don't. Do or do not, there is no try. I'm working on vulnerability. Let's work on the vulnerability, shall we? Vulnerability. Being more vulnerable. How am I doing? I am depressed. That's how I'm doing. And I find that I have two speeds, depressed or busy. So that means really the only way out of this is for me to get busy, hence me working on this podcast right now. I'm also kind of feeling, and this might be related to the depression, but it's just kind of this general fatigue that even if I get a full night's sleep, I'm coming out of it still like I can just keep sleeping. Like I was in bed today until almost 2 p.m, and I'm not just I can just keep going. I can just keep sleeping. What is the cause of my depression? That's the same kind of thing. I'm not where I want to be in life. Where do I want to be in life? Well, I want to be a successful comedian. And I don't feel successful. I don't. So I'm judging who I am by specific achievements. And if I don't meet those achievements, I am no longer worthwhile. That's kind of where I'm at. And I'm the only one. I'm the one who's creating all this. I mean, I could, people have said to me, I'm the one who defines what success is. So I could just reorient. Or not reorient, rather, redefine what I consider success and then just always be successful. But that doesn't work for me. It doesn't work. I don't buy it. Well, what am I doing to get to where I want to be? Well, I need to be building a following. And how do you build a following? I need to create content and put it online. Okay, well, how are you creating content and putting it online? No. All right. Well, then, Josh, there's the issue. I'm not sure if talking about creating content counts as content. But on the other hand, if we look up the dictionary definition of content, technically it's not nothing. It is not a null value, what I am doing. So that's where I'm at right now. I'm feeling just like I'm not where I want to be with my career, and just this sense of fatigue. I've been successfully not eating junk food. I managed to, I eat a lot of fruit now if I get a sugar craving, so at least it's hopefully a healthier kind of sugar, not the processed sugar. But yeah, I find I'm questioning the fatigue. Like my fear is that the fatigue is a deeper health problem that's gonna, I'm gonna drop dead or something. That's where my brain goes, which ironically jolts me back awake. It's what keeps me awake. But no, there is this sense of fatigue that I feel until 3 a.m, then I'm wide awake. And I also noticed that the sense of fatigue comes up when I'm about to create content. So I think the fatigue is The fatigue, I believe, is fear manifesting itself as fatigue. So I am attempting to power through it by doing this podcast. This is a battle. What you're experiencing right now. This isn't just me talking. This is me talking through fatigue and depression. Showing up, doing the work. You have to do the work. If you don't do the work won't do you. That's why you've got to do the work. If you don't do the work won't do you. That weirdly turned into Wallace Shawn, who was in My Dinner for Andre. My Dinner with Andre. Did you see it? Did you catch My Dinner with Andre? It's an hour-and-a-half conversation between two people in one restaurant. That's the one setting, and it's a freewheeling conversation that they have. That I have now seen that movie twice. And I feel like it would be easy to make fun of the movie. It's a good movie, though. It's experimental in that it is just a conversation in one location. But I've watched it twice now, and I find it compelling. So there you go. And I feel like my default move is to make fun of the movie, and instead I should be making my, I'm trying to get away. I'm not trying. I'm getting away from making fun of others, and really focusing on finding the humor in my own insanity. That I'm living a life where I would rather watch a fictionalized version of two people having a conversation than actually have a conversation. I needed somebody, a director, to go and write a much better conversation than I could ever have, and I will ingest that and forego the actual conversation. That's how I'm doing. That, and I don't have a parking space where I live, so I keep having to move the friggin' car whenever it's a street sweeping day, which makes me feel like even more of a failure because I don't have my own parking space. I know we're all one people under the sun, and we're all equal, and we all deserve the same, rights and freedoms and love and what have you. But I gotta say, parking space versus no parking space, I'm a lesser human being than the person with the parking space. That is my general feeling on that. Oh, I'm tired. I think I might actually go to bed after this. Apparently, the way for me to fall asleep is to podcast, which I'm sure that's going to make the product truly fantastic. If I'm falling asleep recording this, one can only imagine how you must feel listening to it, if you're still listening to it. And, I should be going for an hour. We'll see how long I go. I don't know. Even if it's just sometimes a 10-minute thing, at least that's something, right? So I've been watching all these YouTube videos where I'm learning, 10 things you didn't know about Star Trek. And I want to point out to you that I've been spending all these years watching all these videos and reading all about Star Trek. It's gotten to the point where none of these videos, I know everything in the videos already. There's nothing new. I've not heard anything. I know it all already. And I thought, well, why can't I make a video, top 10 things from Star Trek you didn't know? Because, I could go through that. Like, for instance, the Enterprise C, which was supposed to be the ship before the Enterprise D, which was originally designed by Matthew Probert. Is his name Matthew Probert? Oh, no, I got to check. I think it was Robert Probert. Rob Probert? Andrew Probert. There we go. He designed the Enterprise C. And the original reason why I designed it, if you look in the Ready Room in Star Trek The Next Generation, is that there's all the previous Enterprises, and they needed to come up with two that were in between the original series Enterprise and the Next Generation Enterprise. So one of them was an Excelsior model, and then the other one was this Enterprise C. But when they actually showed the Enterprise C in an episode, it didn't look exactly like the model because they didn't have time to make it look like that. So they had to cut some corners. And I just wish, I think they should have worked that into the show, because that means the chronology would be that the Enterprise C was built, it looked fantastic. Or no, the Enterprise C was built and didn't look fantastic. It was the cheaper version. And then 20 years later in Picard's observation lounge, there's the nicer model. And people are saying that's not what the Enterprise C is supposed to look like. And Picard says, this is a better version. This is my personal improvement on it. This is what it should have been, but wasn't. Captain, I don't think you're allowed to do that. I am Jean-Luc Picard. I am Jean-Luc Picard. I am Jean-Luc Picard. I am now looking at pictures of the Enterprise C. It's a nice looking ship. It's got some highlights. I like where it's going. I like how it looks. But there are people who make videos about these starships, and I consume those videos. Consume, my friends. Consume. I tell you, I just have this feeling of being exhausted, and I don't know. I haven't done anything today. That's why I'm terrified that it might be a health thing. I have a condition. The condition is called turning 40. A lot of pictures of the Enterprise C here. My goodness. Do I have much else to talk about? I don't know. What else is going on? The diet's continuing to go okay. I had some lo mein noodles and a little bit of teriyaki sauce, which was delicious. Hopefully that's not too bad. High on the sodium, that's not a good thing, but it was a nice little simple dinner. I'm finding the meals, the simpler I make them, the better I feel. Just had some blueberries, a little bit of lo mein, and I'm good to go. Had to take a brief pause there, make sure the thing was saving. Still feeling exhausted, but all right. I had a little Picard idea, and feeling not necessarily feverish, but just hot, and that just could be because it's warm in here. The temperature's changing. That could be all that is. This is turning into a Farmer's Almanac, not so much a podcast. And I'm in this weird place where I'm hungry yet I'm not hungry. This is where I would be eating the Dunkin' Donuts or the Krispy Kreme donuts. It's this weird hunger, in between hunger and fullness. Because I had the noodles. They were good. If I really need to, I may have some toast and jam. But we'll see if I can move through that. So, what am I going to do to fight the depression? What am I going to do, Josh? Well, the first thing is not to fight the depression. What I've learned is I just have to live my life as if I were not depressed. And if the depression's there, great. If it's not there, whatever. But allow it to be a passive observer a passenger on the Josh train as opposed to the conductor. Ooh, I just want to punch myself for talking like that. I don't know what more to tell you other than I'm trying to work on the diet. I'm feeling exhausted. I've got to end on a high note here. We've got to end on something good. Well, all right. What's a confession? How about that? Let me make a confession to you. I'm talking more about being bisexual on stage, and it's not going well. Much like my dating life, it's not getting the kind of critical acclaim I was hoping for. And maybe I don't know. I guess I'm still in a questioning period because I've never actually been with a guy, and I don't, know where or how that would even happen, because I don't date. I hate the process of dating. I don't feel comfortable hooking up even. I'm afraid of disease and what have you. And so I don't know if that's going to happen. And my biggest fear with it, by the way, is that neither sex will find me appealing, or neither gender. In which case, the real, bisexuality was never a problem. But then the real issue is really more that I don't have confidence in myself. I need to have confidence in myself. I also don't want to spend the time on it. Dating takes, getting to know a whole other person. That's a lot right there. I can barely handle people 30 seconds into any conversation, let alone a whole other person with luggage. I'm not even talking emotional I'm talking just twice as much as what's in here right now. That's all I'm thinking. All right, that's good. I am literally falling asleep. I'm going to stop there.